The 2012 National Chef of the Year competition is really hotting up. The semi-finals earlier this month saw 40 entrants whittled down to just 8, and we were on hand to ask the judges why it's grown so prestigious and what they'll be looking for in the final, which takes place at the restaurant show on the 9th of October.
The Practical Chef's National Chef of the Year has been going since the early 70s, and it's become one of the competitions to win for chefs. And in many cases it shows the chef's worth and the capabilities, because it pushes them to the boundaries and to their limits.
The advice I would give to anybody that was coming into any competition, whether it's a lone National Chef of the Year, is the fact that you possibly want to do something that you do on your current menus, but keep it simple. It's a 2-hour window of opportunity. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try and be clever. Do something that's seasonal, but flavour. Presentation is obviously very important. Balance of ingredients is very important, but keep it simple and keep it current.
I think the best advice to give anybody who's doing a competition is to make sure you stick to the criteria they're asking for. I think you can get lost sometimes when you're developing dishes, that you've kind of lost the train of thought you started out with. And if something needs to be a berry dish, you know, the main focus of the dish needs to be berries, essentially. Don't make it too complicated. Do simple things very well, and it's very hard to fault then as well. The more you add, sometimes you're distracting from what you started out with.
This year's finalists are Andrew Wright from Restaurant 23, Alan Williams from Alan Williams at the Westbury, Joe McCafferty from Rocker, Paul Dunstane from Restaurant Associates, John Howie from Sodexo Prestige, Paul Matthews from Restaurant Associates, Justin Galea from Turnberry Hotel, and Hayden Groves from Baxter Story.
The winning dish is going to be a delicious plate of food to eat. Undeniable. You can't escape that, because the tongue and the stomach don't lie. Over and above that, it's probably going to be something that looks really attractive. You know, when you get in amongst all these other dishes, you look at a few of the plates and you just think, Christ, no, that's a great looking plate of food. So it's an attractive thing. Furthermore, if you can intelligently weave in some little modern technique that just lifts your dish above the rest, it's going to serve you well. The problem is, more often than not, those clever little gimmicky things detract from the quality in the first place. But if you can cook delicious food, make it look a pretty little picture, and bring in a modern and inventive cooking technique, if you can get the three to work together, you've got a winning plate of food.
So what competitors do really well, more and more these days, is concentrate on provenance and seasonality. They do an awful lot of background work in terms of sourcing their produce, and that comes across. That, you know, great lamb today, fantastic sea bass, but sourced well as well. Beautiful vegetables in season.
Well, we see 1 or 2, 3 things always. One of them is that sometimes chefs forget that there's always a certain amount of simplicity that needs to be put forward, rather than trying to overdo their skills. And also that the judges have got years of experience on their palates, in the way they taste, in the way they judge. You judge so many competitions, you become seasoned at them. So you look for certain things that a participant might try to hide, or a participant might try to think that it'll go, it's passé, but it's not. Because you are giving the food to 15 different judges, and it's 15 different heads, 15 different thinking, 15 different palates, 15 different levels of analyzing each product. And so what happens is, when collectively every one product gets broken down, then it becomes very critical. That's how keen the level of competition is.
Stay tuned to Big Hospitality for full results of the final at the restaurant show on the 9th of October.